Hey guys, so tonight my vlog is going to be about my take on why relationships in the military move so quickly, and kind of things to avoid, things to be careful of, things to think about when you're in a relationship that you feel is moving really quickly, as well as kind of my own experience with it. So some of you guys might know I got into this life really, really quickly. I'm fairly new at it. Um, but so I started dating my now husband in August of last year. We started dating only a few weeks after talking. We just kind of hit it off. We were set up, which I talked about in my About Me, so I'll just kind of move on. So we started dating around the 13th of August, and then I moved 2 hours away from my home in October of that year. And then we got engaged around a few weeks later, about like 3 weeks later. And then we got married November 16th of that same year. And then we found out we were pregnant in the very beginning of January. So, as you can tell, I am coming up on my 6-month wedding anniversary. So it's been a little bit of time, not a ton, but everything happened really super quickly. I never thought that I would be in a super kind of fast moving relationship. It wasn't really my style. I dated someone for 4 years of high school and we were never engaged, or we never moved in. We never really talked about it, except for sort of like an in the future kind of a talk. So I always thought that I would sort of make sure that I was ready. I come from divorced parents. They were divorced when I was really young, so that was always a concern of mine. I did not ever want to get divorced. And kind of letting my guard down about marriage was something that I thought was going to be really hard. So I was really surprised when I sort of threw caution to the wind and moved so quickly. So that's kind of my story about it. I want to talk a little bit about, so when I first started talking to Charles, I was working full-time in a restaurant in Boulder, which is 2 hours from where we are now, and we talked 24/7. Like, it had been a really long time since I had really had interest in somebody for that long, and they had shown interest in me for that long. So it felt good to kind of have that kind of relationship, and so I finally decided to come see him, and it was nice. The first time we met was really nice, and we were with the friends that had set us up, so everyone was comfortable and we knew each other really well at that point. They're our friends, I mean. And then, and then I sort of freaked out. So I spent the night that night, and then I left that next day, and I sort of had a breakdown, and he was texting me that night, and I sort of took the approach of, I can't do this anymore, this is too fast, I need to slow down, like, I can't do this. And then I had an epiphany that night. I saw my ex at a bar, and it just, long story, but basically I told him that I was not ready to date, and then I wanted to take it slow. So I saw my ex that night, and I got really upset, and I realized that I wasn't letting him in. I wasn't letting this amazing man in. So I apologized the next day and started talking and talking, and I still said that I needed time, which was true. I needed time for me. I needed time to get my own feelings straight and figure out what I was doing. So I took a little bit of time, and like a week and a half later, I just couldn't take it anymore. I was so obsessed with him. We were Skyping for 5 hours every night, and it was incredible. So I, super nervously asked him to date officially, and he, of course, said yes. But it was a good moment for me because it was the first time I had let my guard down. So after that, initial guard being down, everything just flew. I mean, within a few months, we were talking about getting married, and it was really scary in a lot of ways because, I didn't know this man that well, and he didn't know me that well. I could have been chasing him for his money or the status or whatever, and, he could have been chasing me for the BAH or the extra money, the extra freedom, all of that they get, the extra respect that you get as a married soldier rather than as a single soldier in the Army. So there was a lot of trust that had to come in with us, and that's one of the things that I want to talk about to avoid is sort of somebody that tells his buddies one night, like, I'm gonna go get married because I want to live off post, or I want to live off base and I want to get the extra money, and no, because that does happen a lot. And I think that people sort of mutually use each other sometimes to get the things that they want. Which, I mean, right when I had moved here, there was somebody who got in trouble for for having like a contract marriage. Like, it was literally just for the benefits. So you want to be like super careful of those kind of stuff. But mostly when it comes to that, you just have to like trust your gut and really like figure out what it is inside you that makes you want to move this fast with somebody. And then you need to talk to them. It's all about communication. When you're moving that fast, there has to be a reason. And either it's really genuine and it's really like something that you both want to do and want to feel, or it's sort of wishy-washy and confusing and they don't want to talk about it, or like it's a rush, or they're trying to push you into something, which is another thing to avoid. If you are not ready to get married, or you're not ready to have a baby, or you're not ready to move, or whatever it is, do not let someone pressure you into doing that. Don't let it be like, well, I can't do the distance, so if you don't move here and get married to me, then we're gonna break up. Like, that is not a good enough reason to get married. Like, this is real life. Yes, we are milsos. Yes, we are military. Yes, everyone gets married young, and it's a very common thing to do. It's common to get married fast. It's common to move and get married right away and all of that. But do not do it if you're not ready, because this is a person you're making a commitment to forever. After the Army, after the Marines, after the Navy, after the Air Force, after the Coast Guard, whatever it may be, this is a person that you're going to have in your life forever, no matter what. So make sure that it's something that you want to do. So personally, I was freaked out that I wasn't freaked out. And you may be asking me, well, what did your parents think? And my parents were really scarily supportive. I don't know what they saw in us or in me or what changed or what it was, but all of a sudden they were like, yeah, I'm gonna help you move, we're gonna help you get out of your lease, we're gonna help you do everything. And then, I called them a month later, like, so we're engaged. And they were like, okay, that's great, that's fine, have fun, that's awesome. And then, a month after that, we're getting married tomorrow. Oh, and you can't be there because we're gonna have a big wedding. And we're just gonna go sign the papers. So yeah, I'm gonna be married tomorrow. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, congratulations, are you sure? And there was a little bit of sort of like questioning whether or not we were ready to get married. And we questioned that a lot as well. We had a plan that we were going to get married after 6 months of being together, which didn't happen, obviously. But at the end of the day, he and I looked at each other and said, I just can't not be married to you anymore. I want to be your wife, I want to be your husband, and I want to be married, and I want to be married forever. And I looked at him right in the eyes and said, do not marry me. Do not marry me if it's not forever, because I'm not getting divorced. I won't be my parents, and I won't do that to my kids. So if you're going to marry me tomorrow, it's for real. And he looked me straight in the eyes and said, it's for real. I love you, and we're getting married. So we got married, and of course kids were way in the future. 5 years is what we originally thought. And then we found out he was deploying in about a year and a few months at that point. And it sparked a conversation about whether or not we wanted to wait until after he was back from deployment to even try to get pregnant. Because I didn't want to have a baby. I didn't want to have the baby while he was gone. So we had a few months, we had 4 months or so to get pregnant before he would be already deployed by the time that I had the baby. So we kind of looked at each other, and I looked at him, tears in my eyes, and said, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait that long. And he said, okay, I've been thinking about it a lot, and okay. So we decided to try. Funnily enough, I was already pregnant at that point, so be safe, kids. But it was planned, but it was a surprise at the same time. So I think that it's going to be an interesting story one day. But the moral of the story is that we were really super careful to make sure that we were 100% ready and 100% committed to each other and to the thought of having a baby. And yeah, some people think it's insane. And, you know, when we got married so quickly, I am sure that there was a lot of people that were talking, you know, behind my back about, oh, she must be pregnant. Like, why would anybody get married that fast? Like, all of that kind of, you know, drama. And so I'm very clear that I got pregnant 2 months after we got married. Okay? We conceived 2 months after. We were not pregnant when we got married. But anyway, so even though that was my choice in life, and I'm done with school and all of that, so that was my choice, and I am 100% confident and happy in my choice. I want to make sure that you guys understand that that doesn't have to be your choice, but if it is your choice, you have to make sure that you're 100% in love with your choice forever. Because if you're not, it's not going to survive. If you're not ready to do every single thing to save what you have, then you might as well not try at all. Because at the end of the day, you have to be ready to make that commitment. But it's okay if it hasn't been that long. I am a firm believer that when you know, you know. And yeah, that was my course in life. And I take full responsibility for that. And I don't judge anyone else's course. If you want to finish school before you get married, I think that's awesome. If you want to move right now, I think that's awesome. Anything that you do, you have to be right behind it. And you have to make sure that you're not being taken advantage of, you're not taking advantage of someone else, and that you're going to be happy, secure, and supported, no matter what in your life. So anyways, that's my take on moving really quickly in relationships and sort of my story. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to message the blog, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.